So there is a WoW player and raider. I think he was a former Heroes of the Storm competitive esports athlete for Heroes of the Storm before it shut down. Anyway, he ended up in the guild Echo. His name is Zaelia. And as I understand it, several allegations, I think, of sort of physical abuse adjacent type of stuff have been levied against him by a couple women. I don't know specifically all of the details, really. So we are going to unpackage all of this. The reason why everybody has been talking about this in the World of Warcraft Twitter community, and he was one of the best players in the best guild in the world, Echo, and they just kicked him out of their guild today as a consequence of these allegations. So we are going to read through every allegation. We are going to read through Zaelia's post where he sort of tries to explain things or defend himself. And then we are going to try to piece this together and see exactly what's going on. I have no preconceived notions before going into this. I've never spoken to Zaela. I don't even think he knows who I am. So I have no dog in this race, okay? I'm an outsider, impartial, no bias. We're going to see what the deal is here. So we're going to start with the Echo post from today. They say Echo is the best retail World of Warcraft raiding guild. The third-party human resources review is ongoing. However, we have now privately received a third new complaint about Zaelia. One of the disciplinary measures we took after the second accusation was informing Zaelia that any further accusation would lead to immediate termination. As of today, Zaelia has been terminated from our organization. Going forward, we decided that any future complaints we receive will be directly forwarded to and handled by a third-party HR company. We urge you to send any complaint to HR at Echo Esports. I think it really matters, like, the merit of the accusation, right? But I guess they just got sick of like this is my immediate concern, is that what if one of the accusations is unfounded or doesn't have any proof, or it's like a troll, it's not even really a real person. But we're going to read through these and see exactly what's going on. Okay, so as I understand it, the first allegation made against him was actually 4 years ago, and this was his girlfriend at the time. And she posted this twit longer, so I'm going to start reading through this. I have been in a relationship with Zaelia for almost 2 years. I was there for him ever since Heroes of the Storm got canceled. I thought he was there for me due to my PTSD and depression. Additionally, how my performance in school was crumbling due to my best friend's suicide and news of my mom's breast cancer. Honestly, I don't even know where to start, but things got worse, and all I ever did was try to look at the bright side, that there are good times together. I was wrong. In August, he was beating me down during arguments, belittling me how I had a hard time getting a job since I don't speak Danish well. How I was not trying enough when I was actually searching for jobs every day back then. He would scream at the top of his lungs till it echoed the whole house through my slippers off the apartment balcony till it echoed the whole house, throw my slippers off the apartment balcony where we once lived, and told me if I wanted to stay with him, I have to bow down to him and suck his dick and beg to stay. Ask me to leave, then a few minutes after changed his mind, ask me to stay. And at one point, he just slammed me against the floor, wanting me to leave, grabbing my wrist so hard and slamming multiple times against walls and doors. He was so mad I was not choosing between my mom or him. Okay, that doesn't sound very good. So it sounds like when she says, like, you know, beg, suck his dick to stay, bow down to him, it sounds like she's not being figurative. It sounds like she's being literal, that he would slam me against the door. Hold up. At one point, he just slammed me against the door, wanting me to leave, grabbing my wrist so hard and slamming multiple times against the walls and doors. A few hours after I left, my dad picked me up and went to pack my things. He shouted and hit my dad, because apparently he doesn't want my dad in the apartment. Proceed to lock him outside. All I could do was pack my things as fast as I could, but he threw all my other things near the door and pushed me so hard out the door. I ignored him for 5 days, even when he bombarded me with messages on WhatsApp. But on the 5th day, he decided to send a video of him crying, and it broke me seeing him that sad. So I felt bad. Went to see him to make sure he's okay. He said he's sorry, want to try again, and he'd change, but who knew it was all a facade. Found out he lied to me about him not having Tinder and that he was not talking to anyone else. So far, what this sounds like, if true, really bad, I think we're at the point where this is probably going to be like a he said, she said type of situation where maybe we don't have proof. I think this is my deal, right? If we're going to, write up twit-longers like this, having, for instance, if she had a statement from her dad saying, yeah, all of this happened. If you had another person, or if she had the video of him crying, right? If she had the video of him crying and say, hey, please come back. I miss you. I'm sorry. That would in some way substantiate her story. Whereas otherwise, there's no proof. So right now it's like, do you believe her or do you not believe her? Okay. But we're going to keep reading. I'm going to go through this. Photos, something. Yeah. Recording, something. And I mean, she said that he sent her a video, right? Okay. So fast forward to December. It was honeymoon period. DMT happened in CPH. I don't know what that is. Where I met Martin, Trekkie, great guy. Got to meet up with Mike, Gingy, and Danny, Nova again. Then back to Jultend. I got a new job in the town we live in, Aarhus. My mom's condition got worse, and she's in Horsens, and we stayed at his parents' place, the town in between both towns, Skanderborg. Since we found a home, and we're moving to the new home around March, made me sell one of my 2 dogs because he doesn't want her to mess the new house, and since my mom was dying, he always had a super bad temper whenever I asked him to visit my mom or drop me to the hospital to visit her or drop me to the train station in the mornings so I can go to work. Can I say something that I think now we're going to get into like a different type of situation? Real quick. If you are a woman and a man is genuinely doing to you what she says he did to her, you should leave. You should not stay together. And it's not like she's stuck in a situation with him. They split up. They were in different places, and then he kind of begged her to take him back. If that's actually happening, you should not be with him. Seriously, you should not accept him back if that actually is what's going on. The whole physical abuse thing. Okay, so he always had a bad temper whenever I asked him to visit my mom or drop me to the hospital to visit her or drop me to the train station in the morning so I can go to work. He'd ask me to walk to the bus stop, which is like a 19-minute walk, and always point out that everything around me was crumbling apart. I got really upset during New Year's since he did not want to visit my mother at all and was pissed that I made him fetch me from the train station 5 minutes before the Queen's speech. Like it was way important than my mom's life. So he wanted to watch the Queen's speech on TV, and he did not want to pick her up from the train station. Okay. Ended up having a huge argument that his parents got involved. But all they could hear was my voice raised because he doesn't raise his voice in his parents' house, and tried to shush me away many times, saying he doesn't want them to see that side of him. So just imagine from his parents' point of view, I'm the aggressive one since he was trying to hide. Okay. This is my thing real quick. If she is willing to raise her voice and yell at him in front of his parents, most certainly 100% she's doing that when it's just 2 of them in their own apartment. 100%. If she's doing that in front of his parents, at his parents' house, absolutely she's doing that just between the two of them in their own apartment. Absolutely. So now I'm thinking, okay, this is just a two-way, really toxic relationship. Um, let's keep going forward here. Fast forward to when we just moved to the house, March or April. He'd be so toxic, starts yelling over the top of his lungs, triggered my PTSD. Situation exactly. 1. I was the only one cleaning the house and tending the garden, but he would get so mad and yell whenever I asked to do the last bit of chores, which is take out the trash that has already been tied up. He also overreacted when I mixed the shampoo to prove that it's all in his head and all shampoos have oil. You could probably see him talk about it in one of his streams. He would get mad if she would mix the shampoo. Okay, I don't even know what that means, honestly. I'm a basic guy, I guess. 3. Saying I do not have anyone left since my mom passed, my sister moved, and I am a foreigner here. So according to her, he was like bullying her for being alone and not having a mom anymore. Okay. 4. How he'd get so mad over me having a new job, and while I'm trying to figure out the public transport there, I'd ask him for a ride since sometimes it'll be too late for me to book the flex bus, and he'd be so aggressive on how I should just get a cab. June. Honestly, I got aggressive at this point since he would always lay hands on me. I want to know specifically what that means, because so far what we have heard is that he tried to like push her out of the door. So I want to know specifically what that means. He would always lay hands on me. But this time I was not having it. On my way out to work, I was so annoyed how he said I do not care of my dog and tried to mock me. So I grabbed him so he'd stay still. He tried shutting the door while mumbling something, and of course, instant reaction. You'd push the door to hear clearly right. It slammed to the wall by accident, and he got so furious he shoved my chest at first, then grabbed anywhere he could on my body. But since I was holding a can of energy drink, he grabbed it so hard it crumpled and slammed it at the counter, then proceed to grab my wrist so hard and, like back in August, slammed me against the door multiple times. I tried to hide my emotions, then went to work. Rest of the day, there was no apologies from him, but I apologized on Discord while at work to be on good terms with him. Okay, so she apologized to him after that altercation. Listen, at this point, I'm sure this is a toxic relationship. I'm sure he's doing things he should not be doing. I think we are really, really hearing one side of this story. I think this woman is not a saint, okay? That's my sneaking suspicion. I think this woman is not a saint, and she has a part in all of this sort of unfolding here. We're going to keep reading. Few past days, I started to see how this is going nowhere. He doesn't want to spend time with me. He was not streaming, but he was worried about income. He was barely playing WoW or HOTS. Instead, he played chess. I told him how I felt, and he gave me an ultimatum of how he isn't ready for a relationship and wants another break. And if I don't stop asking for attention, we are breaking up. I told him, well, we are breaking up because he hasn't changed since last year. Then we agreed to let me stay a few days to pack my things up and find an apartment. 1 day passed. Just 1 day I've started packing my things. So I asked him to sit on the couch to say why this relationship isn't working out and to make things clear. But he was so unhappy with my thoughts or opinion or whatever you call it, he started going berserk. He starts to throw my clothes out of my moving boxes while shouting so loud, then start to hit every wall and continue to come so close to me and shout even more that his spit lands on my face while pulling and pushing me against the couch. And tried to flip my laptop so many times that it ended up hitting my dog right in the head. During the day, I tried to post about it on Instagram, where my platform is bigger, but his parents tried to silence and threaten that they know I yell at him and that I posted booty shaking videos when he was traveling, like as if I cheated. I called the police for advice. They even told me I could press charges, but dad did not approve of getting the police involved since he have seen him aggressive. Hold up. Wait, slow down. I think she's talking about her dad. I called the police for advice. They even told me I could press charges, but dad did not approve of getting the police involved since he have seen him aggressive. Okay, so she's worried that if she gets the police involved, that Zaelia will say that her dad has been aggressive. Okay, that makes me think if they are worried about that, that the dad's aggression must have been not so good. A pretty negative component about this. Let me see here. Okay. After work, my dad and I went to grab most important things and my dog, of course. Then the following day, we did the same and grabbed all my things. He started to argue about the things in the pantry and the toilet rolls I've taken. Keep in mind, I keep tab of my groceries I buy and all the groceries in the house and bought by me. He started to threaten how he wants me to leave and I could just come back and get my stuff once he throws them all out. Then I mentioned how I can sue him for that and being abusive. He got even more furious and say he wants to throw me out, and after he found out my dad went away for a few minutes to store my bicycles, he got even more aggressive, saying how it is easier to throw me out. At that point, I called the police and they agreed to come and assist with the moving. He decided to call his parents, and he was in denial that he was abusive and making a joke about it to his parents. His parents came, and yes, Karen and Steve was protecting their son too. He was even acting in front of his parents when I said, well, he doesn't want you to see that side of him. But he was like, well, now they are seeing it. Trust me, he wasn't even screaming like a lunatic like he'd always do with me, nor even slamming things in front of them. Karen and Steve wanted me to leave so badly without my things, but all I can think was I want to get it all and not see them again. But yeah, my dad came back, police arrived, one was talking to him and his dad in the garden. The other police was with me and my dad, while his mom tried to take the remaining things out passive-aggressively. Okay, she has like some final notes and then I'll give my thoughts on this here. You might think that after 2 years, why I stayed till that long. I cared about him. I tried so hard to look at the good moments. It's hard to find someone that loves your dog and your dog likes to cuddle up to and play with. I don't think that's true. I think most people love dogs, and I think most dogs love most people. My dog had a place to enjoy himself. There's always someone home with my dog. Hold up. Okay, so three. Okay, hold up. So 3 out of the 5 reasons why you stayed with this allegedly abusive guy is because you needed a babysitter for your dog. Okay. So here's my thing, right? We have at least one instance where police got involved. We have her saying that he would send videos begging her to come back. He's crying, please come back. That there are text or Discord messages where she's apologizing to him and talking about some of these situations. This is me. I have no trouble believing this is a toxic relationship, but if you expect me to believe that he is... If you expect me to believe you, and then also from there believe that, you know, he is the main negative culprit in this situation, I think you need to come with some screenshots or videos or police reports. And all of those things, if this is true, all of those things most certainly must exist if I am to believe everything you post here, but you're not sharing any of those things. So, given none of that is a part of this, this is going to end up being a he said, she said situation where you just have to pick who you find more convincing because there's a complete and total lack of proof or evidence. Now, so anyway, this is his first accuser, and this actually popped up 4 years ago in June of 2020. And so I guess nothing happened for 4 years. And so now people are talking about this 4 years later because there's another woman that has, and I haven't read through this. We're gonna read through this from Felicia coming up next. I don't know what she's gonna say. I do wonder, like, after this was posted 4 years ago, then what happened? Echo didn't care because Echo kept him on the raid roster. Echo didn't care. Maybe they patched things over. I don't know. But anyway, now people are talking about this. This is the first accuser. Echo mentions here they kicked him out of the raid team today, or out of the organization today, saying there have been 3 accusations. This is the first one. This is the second one. I think the third accusation per this tweet is private and has, so we don't know exactly what the third accusation is. It hasn't been shared publicly. That being said, let's go ahead and read the second one. This is from Felicia. She said, and this is what really kicked things off 4 days ago, causing all of this, causing him to be ultimately kicked out of the guild. Playing Warcraft has completely changed my whole life, and it makes me sad to say that I could never come back. September 2021, about 3 years ago exactly, I met a person, someone who I thought was kind, humble, respectful, cool, and funny. That is someone, his vibe, is it not? Zaelia? We met, fell in love, and were together for about 2 years before the man I loved, the man I shared all my best memories with, became the man I fear the most. The one he told me he never was, that the stories I heard about his ex were nonsense, that she was crazy. Okay, so Felicia and Zaelia spoke about Marissa. Okay. She's crazy, but she wasn't. And I don't blame myself for not wanting to believe the worst of him. Love really does make you blind. And I won't blame anyone for reading this. I won't blame anyone reading this for not believing it either. Even till this day, I still don't want to believe that he did this to me. Okay, what did he do? I will never claim that I was perfect in my 2-year relationship with Zaelia. I loved him more than I loved myself. I could not let go. Even when I saw that he cheated and was flirting with girls online, I stayed. In fact, he could have done whatever. I would have stayed. Real quick, just real quick, and I said this with the last thing here. If you are a woman or anybody, if you're a man, if you're anybody in an abusive relationship where the person is cheating on you and you're not okay with that and they're physically harming you, you need to leave. You need to split up. You need to break it off. You need to not let them back in your life. Okay. That's nothing I'm proud of, but that's the truth. I was not ready to let our love go down for just anything. On the 29th of August, 2023, I went to see him. We talked, we had dinner, and we slept together. And not until 8 days later, we have a fight that changed everything forever. Okay. Ooh. Okay. Where were we? The 6th of September, 2023, me and Ken, Zaelia, broke up in a nasty fight. He was ignoring me the whole day, and it all broke loose when I noticed I got blocked on Discord, and I go into his office asking him why. Damn. So they are living together. He's in this room and she's in this room, and he blocks her despite being roommates. Or, you know, whatever, cohabitating. Okay. That's fucking weird. I'm blocking you. A lot of nasty things were said that day, and we walked into the kitchen where we keep fighting. He yells at me how I'm nothing, I have no rights, and I need to shut the fuck up. Why would he say that? It seems like maybe he has a thing for immigrant women or something. I don't know. I don't know. Okay. Okay. And you need to shut the fuck up. I got fed up with being verbally downgraded, so I threw my wallet at him. Okay. Then she posted this screenshot. Okay. So this is a message that she sent. She sent this to Scripe, who is the guild master of Echo. Okay. Yeah, I mean, someone in chat points out, okay, so she threw the. So I guess it's worth noting, up to this point, she does not say that he has done anything physically abusive to her. She threw a wallet at him. You know, I guess it's not the worst of things, but that is physically escalating. She threw something at him. Okay, anyway. So then she messages Scripe, who is the guild master of Echo, the best World of Warcraft guild in the world, and she sends him all of this stuff. I'm going to read this now. After a while of screaming and crying, I took my wallet in front of me and threw it at him. I couldn't take it anymore. The second it left my hand, I felt regret and I said, I'm so fucking sorry. I was so ashamed and I walked away, but he ran after me and grabbed me and screamed, "You're going out right the fuck now." I said in shock, "Don't fucking touch me," and ran away to the living room. He walked away for a bit to open the door to the backyard. He then came back and said, "Come here." And I turn around. He looks me straight in the eyes and grabs me by my arms and starts to drag me across the living room. So now he wants her gone. He's mad that she has thrown the wallet at him, and now he's trying to physically remove her from the room. I scream, "What the fuck are you doing? Let go of me." And he said, "You don't want to leave and you don't want to fucking face reality. So this is reality for you, bitch," is what he said. Allegedly. I fall to the ground by the kitchen table and he says, "Good, fucking stay there." So now it's getting nasty. Now it's not getting good, if this is a true story. He then goes into our bathroom and drags out all my stuff and starts throwing them at me sitting there. Clothes, bags, perfume, nail polish, sunglasses, everything I had. I stand up and I say, "Please just go to your parents." I stand up and I say to him, "Please just go to your parents or something and I'll leave, I promise. Just please stop." And he walks up to me and screams that I have no fucking rights whatsoever anymore. And I try to walk away to grab. Why is he saying the whole rights thing? Because this is the second time that she has said that he said that about rights. Okay. I like that. That's kind of a weird thing to say. Anyway, and I try to walk away to go grab a plastic bag to pack, but he grips my arms again and tries hard to get me out of the door. And I'm wearing shorts and a t-shirt. I knew if I went out that door, he would never open it for me again. So I try to resist with everything I have. And after a while, lets me go. And I say, "Please stop the violence." And I'll just go, "Please, Ken." Okay, so he is trying to push her out of the door. I was just waiting for him to snap out to see me, Felicia, the one he's been spending 2 years with. My Ken could never do something like this, but he didn't hear me anymore. He didn't see me. He grabbed me multiple times before I ran away to the bathroom to lock myself in. He smashed the door behind me, and I called his parents to come over and help me get out of the house. He didn't stop. I was on the toilet, scared, crying, thinking this can't be real. His parents came after a while, and his mom helped me to grab my stuff while his dad took him outside. I can't believe that this was the last thing I saw of the one person I've loved harder than I could have ever loved anyone. The first thing his mom told me was, "It's happening all over again." The first thing his mom told me was, "It's happening all over again." When I first met Ken, he had told me about his ex, about how they had fought, and he had to, quote, drag her out of his apartment because she was crazy. Then afterwards filed a police report against him, and he told me she wrote to you or whoever was in charge of Method back then. And it did happen all over again. And I blame myself for not believing the story he told me. I thought that doesn't actually happen in real life. We would always talk about these things, and I said, I'm so happy we are not evil people. A part of me still can't believe it happened. Um, okay, so far, I'll give you my thoughts. Okay, so there's quite a bit more. Let me give you my thoughts right now. This might change depending on what we read next. Two paths here. But one thing must be acknowledged before we break down those two options. She has not like the previous allegation here from his first girlfriend, we don't have any proof. She talks about Discord exchanges. She talks about calling his parents. She doesn't post any, like, she doesn't. Do you guys agree? If she would post a screenshot of a phone log where she called his parents on this day, at least maybe that wouldn't be definitive, but it would lend some amount of credibility for her story, right? A phone call at this time on this day, something, a Discord interaction, blocked message, something. Okay. So we don't have that. So all we have right now is what she's posting on Twitter and this screenshot of what she is telling Scripe, although once again, she doesn't have any proof of that. Okay. So this is, we can go two paths here. Okay. Everything she's saying is entirely true. Or she is manufacturing a story that she knows is similar to the story Marissa told several years prior in an attempt to destroy this guy because she's messaging his guild leader, right? Because she admits she knows all about Marissa. She knows everything Marissa has said. She knows about the history between Zaelia and Marissa, or the purported history between these two. And what she's saying is very similar to what Marissa's saying. So we have two options here, given we don't have any proof, okay? All of this actually happened, or she's fabricating a story to try to get him kicked out of his guild. She's messaging Scripe, his guild leader, and the story is being fabricated in accordance with the story that Marissa gave a couple years ago. And so we're going to keep reading from there. And it's, like I said, it's really hard to know because we don't have any proof. Someone said proof of what? Like I said, in situations like this, if you're going to make a post like this, if you post a Discord screenshot, an exchange, if you post a text message, if you post, and on this day I called his mom to come over and help me out, if you post a screenshot of that phone call saying that, yeah, actually on August 2nd, when this is supposed to have happened or whatever, I actually did call his mom, right? Something, even though those things wouldn't be entirely definitive, they would help lend some amount of credibility to the story. But we don't have those things, okay? So we're going to keep reading here. After writing to Scripe about the incident that happened with one of his raiders, I was sent to their human resources department, HR. I spoke with them for a while, and they knew I was going to take legal action towards Zaelia. Do we have a date for when she messaged Scripe? Oh. She messaged Scripe a year ago, almost exactly. September 10th, 2023. Almost a year ago exactly, within 4 days, incidentally. So, okay, so Echo Guild has an HR team. Oh, am I being dumb? Oh my god, it's European times. Look at that. That's right. It's actually October 9th. Oh my god, Europeans do it backwards. Can you believe that? These people are crazy. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, still 11 months ago. After writing to Scripe about the incident that happened with one of his raiders, I was sent to their HR. So a guild like Echo, they have some HR staff members. Okay. I spoke with him for a while, and they knew I was going to take legal action against Zaelia. I was informed, and not long after, I find Ken at my doorstep in Sweden. So this is another thing that pops in my head. If you're going to take legal action against Zaelia, you must think that you have some proof to share with the authorities that he's actually doing these things. show that to us. If you've got proof or evidence to show to the authorities, show that to us. Show that to Scripe, whatever, right? Okay. Yeah, Ken is Zaelia. Sadly, I still wanted to believe that he wasn't evil. I wanted to hear him out. So by the way, she's going to go to the authorities. She has messaged Scripe. Ken, Zaelia, shows up at her doorstep. Sadly, I still wanted to believe that he wasn't evil. I wanted to hear him out. And for hours he talked, told me how he wants to always be there for me, be my friend, how sorry he was that he's not a wife beater. Well, they're not married. I mean, I guess the allegation would be a girlfriend beater, but not a wife beater. Oh, how dumb I was to believe any words he said that day. Not long after I got the news that I'm a BRCA1 gene holder, I don't know what that is. And a month after that, my stepdad died. What is BRCA1? BRCA1. The BRCA1 gene is a chromosome 17, that helps suppress cell growth and repair DNA. When this gene is mutated, a person has a higher risk of developing breast, ovarian, prostate, and other types of cancer. Okay, so she has a higher propensity for getting cancer. She has realized. Okay, and then a month later, her stepdad died. So a little bit of a tumultuous month here. Do you think this man kept his word? Nope. He never wanted to be my friend after what happened. Okay, so here we have a couple more screenshots, conversations. Sure, this is from her. Sure, can I ask you what the investigation process really looks like? Jaith, who is presumably the HR department person from Echo, says, for now, I want to keep in touch with you so I know what is happening with you and with law enforcement. Of course, we will speak with Ken, Zaelia, ASAP. And then we will make a determination within the next day, 2 at most, about how to proceed while the police investigation moves forward. You can reach out to me anytime with any questions, concerns, or updates. I'm traveling the next couple days, so any delay in me responding will be because I'm on an airplane. But this is currently my #1 priority, so do not hesitate to reach out for any reason. Okay, this is September 11th. This is September 11th, 2023. Hold up. Hold up. Okay, that time discussion we had 2 minutes ago about this being European time, I think this is actually North American time. I think this screenshot is North American because this is September 10th, if you read this NA style. And then this screenshot is September 11th. Otherwise, this would have happened in November. Okay, anyway. Okay, anyway. So on September 11th, she responded, like 1 day later, she said, what if there are no actions taken by the police as a result of my report, even though this is his second time? So I wonder what she means by second time. Maybe she is referring to the situation with Marissa 3 years prior at that point. Okay, that might be what she means. If she had an issue like this with him and reached out to Echo at some point prior, a first time, I feel like she would have included that in the story. So I think it's fair to assume that by second time, she means the first time is with Marissa. Okay. HR department guy says, we take this very seriously. Regardless of what the police do, what they do will absolutely help our investigation because of their superior resources and expertise, but we do take this seriously regardless. Our action will not depend solely on whether the police take official action. Okay. The conversation continues on 9/27. Okay, so we flash forward several weeks. Okay. Hello, hope you are well. Ken told us that the two of you have worked things out and are back together. I just wanted to verify with you if this is true. Thanks. She says, hi, absolutely not. What the fuck? Ken told you that? HR guy said, no, he didn't. Uh-oh. No, he didn't. Someone else told me that, and I assumed it was from you to Ken to that other person. Initially, you said Ken told us that. Ken told us that the two of you have worked things out. No, he didn't say that. Okay, I don't know. Someone else told me that, and I assumed it was from you to Ken to the other person. Apparently, I misunderstood something. The other person is now telling me it wasn't from Ken after all. I was wrong when I assumed it was. Sorry for the misunderstanding. Um, this is your HR guy? This is the HR guy? Okay. And then she responded, all right, not sure what is going on and where this idea came from, but that doesn't feel good to hear. Okay. I want to know. So we skipped forward 2.5 weeks. What happened between September 11th and September 27th? I don't know. I feel like we might be missing something there. Okay. We're moving on then. Nothing. Yeah, maybe just nothing. Maybe there was no conversation at all. Okay. This is now October 1st, 2023. Good morning. We have concluded our investigation. We have decided on and implemented disciplinary consequences for Ken. While we will keep this and his consequences confidential, he is free to tell you if the two of you decide. Of course, if anything more happens, or if you have more information for us, such as the police report or any police action, please don't hesitate to send it to us. So they're saying we have taken care of this internally. We're not going to tell you. If Zaelia wants to tell you, that's on him. But as far as we're concerned, this is taken care of. Okay. Then she said, all right, last time you wrote to me, it sounded like a hell of a mess from your guys' end, and you failed to let me in on what was actually going on. I believe that a man at the age of 29 doesn't change over the span of 2 weeks, and I don't think it's fair that physical abuse gets disciplinary consequences. In quotes. While others get removed for the incoming tier, as well as the guild for making sexist jokes. Do you believe this is fair? Okay, so she very clearly wanted him to be kicked out of the guild. HR guy says, yes, I do think our outcome is fair. I agree people don't change quickly or easily, which is why part of our discipline requires him to get help changing. We are not a law enforcement agency appropriate for imposing criminal consequences. As I said before, if the police investigation moves forward, I would very much like to receive updates regarding that and the police report. That's very interesting. So this is the HR guy's way of politely saying, if there is proof, if the police believe you and there is proof, then we will do something. But right now, as far as we are concerned at Echo, there's no proof. This is his polite, politically correct way of saying that, pretty much. So we are handling this internally. We're going to require him that he gets help changing. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but for now, this is it. If there's a police report and proof comes out, if there's evidence of his wrongdoing, then we can talk again in the future. So that's what that means. Okay, and we have 3 more messages here where she wraps up. Echo, you did not make sure that Ken went to any anger management therapy. I've had many sleepless nights. I'm not sure how she would know that. I've had many sleepless nights thinking about what the right thing was to do. It took me a year to heal from what Zaelia did to me mentally and physically. I don't know if I will ever fully heal from what happened, but I'm trying. I moved back to Sweden, attended my stepdad's funeral, and I applied for my dream job that I got. What I went through, I would not want that for anyone else out there. Once again, I was not perfect. Neither was he. Maybe we weren't meant for each other, but the lines he crossed is never okay. Okay. I have something insane, really big to say here. By the way, Zaelia has a really long response. Zaelia himself responds to all of this. But before, and I have not read that. I don't know what he's going to say. I have to say something real fast, okay? First off, I need to call out Echo. Echo was totally Echo the guild that he just got kicked out of today. Echo was totally fine to keep Zaelia in the guild for 11 months between October 2023 and September 2024, Zaelia remained in this guild for 11 months after they knew about all of this. They knew about the allegations. And now, only 11 months later, do they kick him out because this girl made it public on Twitter. Okay? So, Echo kicking this guy out of the guild has nothing to do with they believe this girl or whatever. It's they don't publicly want the heat. Before it was private, and now it is public. Okay, and so they are not happy with the heat. Second off, as we've talked about before, there is no proof. I think there could be some things that she could post. Like I said, call logs, text message logs, anything that would indicate that Zaelia is crazy or aggressive or manipulative or violent or whatever. And it wouldn't be like any message, any screenshot, anything from him with him recording that would indicate some truth to what you're posting that would help people believe you. But we don't have that. What we do have, it seems like I'm thinking, why is she going to his guild master? Why is she going to his guild's HR department? Why is she literally saying that she thinks he should be kicked off the raid team? I think she was trying to go scorched earth, do as much damage as she possibly could. She had an agenda. She wanted him to get kicked off the raid team. She was trying to kneecap this guy's professional career. Okay? That's my take. Now, whether or not she's telling the truth with all this, I don't know. She doesn't post any proof. And when I say proof, there's like hard proof and soft proof. Hard proof is we know for a fact he did something. Soft proof is like, on this day we had a fight and I had to call his mom. I had to call his parents to come help us out. Here's a screenshot of what that call log looks like. I called his mom on this day. Here's a screenshot of that. We had a conversation on Discord about it the next day. Here's screenshots from our conversation on Discord. Okay. I knew that I was in a tough situation, and so I recorded a conversation with him. And you can say it's kind of like entrapment conversation, I guess, but I recorded a conversation with him knowing that this was an ongoing situation and I wanted to have some type of evidence. Okay, so I brought up all of this with him and I recorded it. And here's the recording. Anything. But we don't have that, so it's he said, she said. Now, we have heard the she said side of the story. We have not heard the he said side of the story. This is from Zaelia himself. And he has a really long write-up, and we're going to read through all of this. We're going to read through all of this right now. Okay, here we go. From Zaelia. I generally do not talk about my personal life in public, but here's my side. My ex and I met in 2021, and our relationship did not start in normal fashion. So by ex, he's talking about Felicia. I don't know if he's going to talk about Marissa, the one before, but right now we're talking about Felicia. My ex and I met in 2021, and our relationship did not start out in normal fashion or how it probably should be. It was imbalanced from the start, where she really wanted for us to be in a committed relationship, and I was basically convinced into it. Not ideal, and I should perhaps have known better, but at the time I didn't. She wanted things to move very fast, such as trying to move into my house, looking for jobs in Denmark behind my back, expecting to be able to live at my place if she found one. Also, just showing up unannounced at times, kind of problematic since she went from Sweden to Denmark and I had no choice but to let her in and hang out. I was in a relationship that obviously didn't feel right, and I tried to talk to her about it multiple times. I would ask her, do you think that what we have is good? Don't you think there is something wrong? And she'd respond with things like, no, I don't. All couples fight, and it's completely normal to have problems. And I obviously felt like, yeah, sure, but aren't you supposed to fix the problems? Okay, so initially, what he's saying is that this woman kind of forced herself on him in a relationship. She would show up unannounced. He would feel obligated to let her in. She would overstay her welcome, things like that. Okay. Okay, where we left off. Most often, when I came to her with a problem, it was like she started crying before I even got to the first sentence out, and from that point, it was impossible. Okay, so anytime he would come to her with a relationship issue, she would just start break down crying, and then he felt like he couldn't communicate with her. What we'd normally fight about was me letting her know our relationship wasn't working for me, and then she'd say that I didn't try or put enough effort in. If the putting in effort is a person having to pretend to feel something they don't, then that's kind of cooked. And generally, I'd have to hear some version of her loving me so much as if that's supposed to be enough to justify staying together. Another decently relevant thing we fought about was her staying at my place. She would come and stay at my place and legit never leave. The first time we met each other, I went to her for a short period. Then she asked if she could come with me home, which, well, she did, and then she stayed for a month. After about 5 days, I started asking, so, what's the plan? I started to hint, do you not think it's time for you to go home? Anyway, somehow she ended up staying a month. I just want to say something real fast. This is like kind of a personal anecdote. I had a girlfriend for 2.5 years that pretty much moved herself into my house, and I knew within like 6 months that this was not a girl that I wanted to date, but she pretty much like imposed herself and moved herself into my house. And I ultimately, after 2.5 years, it was like not a good situation. I had to evict her, and it was a whole thing. And so I actually, so far, I kind of relate because I know what it's like to have someone just kind of like refuse to leave and emotionally manipulate you into not wanting to like kind of like I don't like twisting you into feeling bad for getting rid of them in a way. I don't know. Okay, so but I know that this happens because I have had a girlfriend like this. I had a girlfriend like this at one point, and we weren't. Our situation was not, like aggressive or violent. But I know what it's like. The term I'll use is to have a squatter girlfriend. I have had a squatter girlfriend in the past, and I know how that goes. Okay. Let me see here. So anyway, she ended up staying for a month. The days leading up to her departure in general was always miserable and awkward, and she was either blissfully ignoring time and space, basically living an eternal vacation in my home, or being upset with me for bringing up the fact that perhaps it's time to head back home to Sweden. At some point, we had a talk about her coming here again. I told her, you need to book a trip home before coming. You need to have a return ticket before having the arrival ticket, is what he said, as a requirement, and she did. On the day before she had to leave, though, she was too sick to go home, headache or something similar. And I was like, okay, wait until you feel better, expecting her to actually leave when she did, which she didn't. So I asked her, what's the plan, waiting for her to leave. The days after she was supposed to leave, but I didn't, she didn't speak to me about it at all. I didn't want to speak to her either until she would basically tell me she had a plan for leaving again, so we walked around in silence for a few days. Okay. So she, according to him, we're looking at both sides. According to him, she is a stage 5 clinger, squatter girlfriend that just kind of refuses to leave. She's overstaying her welcome. She's not really wanted there. But he's maybe too nice to like tell her, hey, you need to go. You need to go now. Okay. That's his side of the story, at least. She said that every time she left, she felt like she left for good, like it was the last time. Honestly, there was probably a reason she felt that way. I just wasn't ever really happy with the whole thing. The dating or relationship was clearly off. So her allegedly saying that she feels like she's leaving for the last time, that says to me that, if what he's saying is true, if she actually said that she kind of had a plan. If I just never leave, then things will get better and we're going to work through this. Whereas if I leave, if I go home, then it's much easier for him to sever ties with me and cut me off, and then we're officially done. And so if I just don't leave, then maybe things will work out. That maybe that was kind of the plan on her end. Okay. We had a fight which resulted in me driving away. I needed a space, and it's not like she would have left when I asked. That time she called my parents in panic, crying, saying that she was worried about me hurting myself or, quote, doing something bad, worrying for my life. I had never given off any reason to where she would believe that. If anything, I had been mega reassuring in the past that I would never hurt myself or similar while having other random conversations. Our fights were many and frustrating, with sometimes yelling from both sides. Mostly they were awkward, never violent. Okay, mostly they were awkward, comma, never violent. Okay, so he's saying things never got violent. There was yelling from both sides, awkward, but things never got violent. As mentioned, we had issues with her not wanting to talk about our problems, not leaving my house, etc., so I tried to come up with something. I arranged to meet up in Copenhagen to talk in a neutral space so we could actually part ways after it. Closer to her home so she could feel a bit more comfortable with engaging in a conversation about our problems instead of bunkering up in my house because she feels bad, basically trapping us both. I tried to talk to her about it, but it didn't quite work out as planned, and somehow we ended up on, fine, let's try again then. Even though she knew what I actually wanted, which was to part ways. The last fight we had was basically about everything that's included in here. She showed up unannounced. After we had spoken on phone the day before, I wanted her to leave my house and she refused. We argued and I was mindful about how I was acting and careful, but I literally said, I don't want to be together, and her response was, why does it always have to be your way or the highway? That's funny. Hey, I don't want to date you anymore. Well, why does it always have to be your way? That's actually hilarious. Well, because it takes two people to be in a relationship. Yeah, true. But I guess I was a prisoner and she made that very clear. It sort of escalated with yelling, and at one point she got so angry she quarterback threw her wallet at me. Like a quarterback with a perfect spiral. This was for sure a line crossed for me emotionally, and it made me walk up to her and I said in her face, leave now. We stood there. Okay, so he's saying, so he said earlier things were never violent, and when she threw something at him, that crossed a line. That escalated things from the realm of verbal dispute into physical altercation type of dispute, and for him, that was a line in the sand. You need to leave. That's his story. That's his story. So I grabbed her upper arm. Oh, hold up. We skipped a sentence. We stood there basically just staring at each other. She was not leaving. So I grabbed her upper arm, moving towards the door like a bouncer at a club trying to escort someone too drunk out. She said, don't touch me. And I let go and asked her, well, what the fuck do you want me to do then? Call the police? Which she responded to with full ridicule. She then instead, so she was laughing at that notion. She then instead proceeded by going into the bathroom, took a shower, or whatever she actually did, not leaving. So I grabbed a sack while she had locked herself in and started putting her things in it so that when she could come out, she could just leave. I put the sack on a chair, was calm again. Then she came out of the shower. I told her I packed her things for her, and she told me she had called my parents in the bathroom and that they were on their way. After that, she started unpacking what I had packed. She took out one of her bras from the sack and put it back in my drawer. I, of course, didn't want it, and was honestly just so insanely disturbing how out of touch I felt she was with the situation. I went to her again like the doorman that I apparently was, trying to steer her out of the house, and this was when she threw herself on the ground, not wanting to go. That he didn't throw her down, that she got down on the ground on her own, and I was just standing there watching her, not sure what to do. After this, she went into the bathroom again, and I set up my phone to record from the kitchen because things started to feel really strange. but nothing happened until my parents showed up 10 minutes later since she was in the bathroom those entire 10 minutes. The thing she said about the door slamming was when she went to the bathroom. She was the one who slammed the door first, which I thought about since it was my door and I liked my things intact. But then I slammed another door in some weird response because I guess, yeah, we are slamming doors now. My parents arrived. I talked to my dad in the kitchen, giving him a rundown about what had happened. My mom went and talked to her, and then they somewhat started packing her things together while my dad and I went outside for a while. They then took her home to their place where she'd stay until the train. They then took her home to their place where she would stay until the train home would leave. The option of me leaving to get some air was gone, since the last time I left, she made my parents think I was suicidal. The option of calling the police on her was ridiculed by her. She'd laugh it off and shame me for even having the thought, but this was clearly the right thing to do in hindsight, and I wish that I did. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he probably should have. If this is true, yeah, he probably should have. As soon as she threw something at me, in my eyes, I saw her as nothing but a home invader, trespasser, squatter, whatever you name it. I offered to drive her to the train station. I offered to drive her. No, listen, hey, if things are at that point, like I don't think that you should be alone with her in any private situation, like going forward. Like if things are here, hey, I'll buy you an Uber, I'll get you an Uber, but like getting in a car with her and driving her someplace, I think that's a terrible move. That's not a good move. Anyway, I offered to get her to the train station, to drive her to the station. I offered to drive her to the nearby hotel and buy her a room, but it wasn't good enough. She begged me to stay in the house another night, refused to accept anything other than exactly that. I also called her mom asking for help to make her leave. They had a talk, but nothing came out of it. I regret trying to remove her myself instead of calling the police. My way wasn't the best way either. Moving on. We clearly broke up, and that was when she started telling people I abused her. It did not take long for her getting home. It did not take longer than her getting home before it started. She started telling WoW players, people I knew, and basically anybody that would listen. I didn't know what to do, and after a weekish of fighting, I asked if she wanted to meet to potentially see more eye to eye. So I asked if we could talk, and I drove to Sweden after she agreed. Don't do that. Should not have done that. Do not meet up with this person. If she has spent a week trying to message everybody that you're physically abusing her, do not meet up with her again. Don't do that. Halfway there, I was AFK charging my car. She said that she wasn't sure if this was a good idea. It's not. So I asked her if she wanted me to turn around, and she said no. When I arrived, she said, let's go for a walk and leave our phones inside. I don't want to be recorded. Red flag. Okay? Absolute colossal mega red flag. Nope. No. She wanted to take a walk in the middle of the night, and I wasn't feeling that. So we ended up sitting and talking in my car for hours. I made it very clear immediately that I had zero intentions of ever going into a romantic relationship with her. So he got into a car at nighttime with her, this girl who has just spent the last week telling everybody that he's physically abusing her, and she has specifically requested that there are no phones so she can't be recorded. And he decides to get in the car with her anyway. Dumb. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Dumb, 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 dumb. Very dumb thing to do. Incredibly dumb thing to do. You couldn't have a dumber thing. You couldn't do a dumber thing. I made it very clear immediately that I had zero intentions of ever going into a romantic relationship with her again, and expressed my remorse with how I tried to remove her from my house. Even if I had my reasons, it was handled poorly and not the right way to go. Like I said before, I should have called the police. We ended on, quote, good terms. Couple weeks later, listen, I don't know how are you going to say you're ending on good terms? Listen, you should not end on good terms with someone that has just spent the last week lying about you physically abusing them. Okay? This is not someone that you should be on good terms with. That you like she I mean that's if she's lying, right? If you did not physically abuse her and she's lying about all of this, this is some dumb stuff that's going on right now. A couple weeks later, I had to go to the race to World First in Vaxjo, whatever, some Swedish word. And I drove past where she lives and we talked for an hour ish. Once again, don't do that. During this hour, she broke down crying to me, telling me about all these people planning bad things to you and Echo. She was crying about what she had done, feeling the Omega remorse, and gave the impression that she wanted to fix what she had broken. Rewind. During this hour, she broke down crying to tell me about all these people planning, quote, bad things to you and Echo. So what she is saying, hold up. And that she has remorse about, okay. So how I read this is that the people she has told that Zaelia physically abused her are now trying to use that story, Zaelia physically abused his girlfriend, to harm Zaelia or to harm the guild that he's in, Echo. That someone that she told this story to is going to publicly share this to try to do damage. That's how I understand this. She showed me screenshots and texts of people basically plotting against Echo, and this Clara person specifically wanted my ex to lead the charge. I don't think we know who Clara is, or at least I don't know who Clara is. Here we ended up on the same side, us versus the plotters, and off I went to Vaxjo for the race to World First. Oh my god, okay, we still have some more to go. A few weeks after that, she went and took a test to see if she had the same gene as a family member, and if she had it, she would have to do some medical things about it. She called me and told me about this and said that she wanted me to be there for the process, doctors' meetings, etc. She pretty much said that I was the one she wanted to be with her, that she trusted the most. I am sure she does want that. I'm sure she does, because this is the girl that at this point you have concluded that she is a stage 5 clinger and she's willing to lie about you to other people. She's willing to tell other people. If you don't give her what she wants, she's willing to go to other people and lie to them about you physically abusing her. Okay? So at this point, if everything you have said, Zaelia, is true up to this point, you know this woman is a fucking psycho. Okay? But I bet he's going to do it anyway. But I bet he's going to meet up with her anyway. Here we go. I went twice to Sweden to be with her during those doctor visits, but things were getting a little weird. They're just now getting weird. As if she was hoping to reform our relationship. Yeah, really. After this, she kept pushing some sort of contact, asking to spend my birthday together at my place with me and my family. I turned her down and she started acting weirder. For example, talking to one of my best friends and teammates, Clicks, sending him selfies, etc., with all her wearing my old t-shirts. Okay. So pretty much the past months, we have been on somewhat good terms, with her wanting to connect and her being remorseful, etc., until I kind of started seeing someone and she probably started picking up on small things. I wasn't sure how to break the connection completely with her, as it was a sensitive case, but I knew I had to if I wanted to respect the new situation or person I was dating. Okay, so what he is saying is that the reason why Felicia, 11 months later, is now posting all of this publicly after 11 months is because Zaelia now has a new girlfriend. And now she doesn't have the copium that maybe they're going to get back together, maybe she's going to get back together with him. Now she realizes Zaelia has moved on, he has a new girl, and she's going to go scorched earth. At least that's what Zaelia is saying. Okay? We're hearing every side of the story here. This was around when she started overly DMing Clicks and acting weird in general. Clicks is the friend of his, teammate of his. A few weeks passed. I kept dating this person who also happens to be a streamer. So what happened recently was that we had been playing on stream and in voice chat. So the timing here is kind of sus. And we know she watched the stream and once tried to join a dungeon with us live on Twitch. So she's trying to stream snipe his dungeon queues when he's playing with his new girlfriend. Okay. Okay. Take from this what you want. The entire situation was completely fried. I am aware that I should have realized faster that we shouldn't see each other at all. I realized a bit too late, and then every time I wanted to end things, she made me feel like I would collapse her entire world if I left her. After a while, I think at some point, I also started wondering if she was right about what was normal in a relationship, and if I was as silly as she made me out to be. I've realized in the past couple months, it's definitely not normal to struggle as much as we did. I think you're right. I think you're right about that, Z-Man. Last detail worth mentioning. I did in fact go speak to a therapist. The therapist she claimed I never went to. I told them the truth and the full story, including the exact physicality of things in the name of self-improvement and not wanting to waste my own time now that I was there anyway. This relationship wasn't easy for any of us, and I can imagine it must have been frustrating being her as well. I guess in a way, not getting the love someone in a relationship should get. Okay. So he has a couple other posts down here. Or rather, just one. So this is where this is on May 13th, 2024, a couple months ago. She says, drive safe. He says, no hands. Ken, hold it properly. I am so thankful for you being here with me through this. I can never thank you enough. I will always be here for you no matter what happens, just like you have for me. This screenshot here is telling. Okay? And the reason why this screenshot is taken, this communication where she's sending him hearts, I'll always be here for you, whatever, is taken. She was messaging SCO in October of 2023. October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May. 8 months. So, I'm sorry, Scripe, not SCO. Yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize for that. Scripe. So 8 months after she is trying to work through Echo HR and message Scripe about him being physically abusive, 8 months later, she is sending hearts to this guy, hoping that she can rekindle a conversation. At least he has this screenshot. She has nothing. She has nothing. So I'm going to give you my opinion here, okay? My opinion is that this was a toxic relationship. My opinion is that there was yelling. My opinion is that she put together a story about how Zaelia is physically abusive based off of a story that she already knew he had with a girlfriend 1 or 2 years prior, which also had no proof or substance, by the way, other than he said, she said sort of allegations. And by the way, once again, when I say proof, I think there's two different types. There's like hard proof and there's soft proof. I think in this case, a sort of soft proof situation that would lend some amount of credibility to these stories would do these women wonders if they want people to believe them. And by soft proof, it's like, okay, here are Discord DMs I exchanged with him. Here is a phone call log I shared with his mother. Here's in the first story, here's the police report, right? None of this happens. None of that is provided. What we do have is Zaelia showing that 8 months after this girl's trying to frame him as being a physical abuser, she's actually still sending him hearts. So that's where I'm at. Okay? That's where I'm at. I am inclined to believe Zaelia here. That's where I'm at. I'm inclined to believe Zaelia. And by the way, I'm not saying Zaelia is a perfect guy or he didn't make any mistakes. I actually pointed out several mistakes. I called the guy stupid at one point, but I don't think there's any proof that he is a physical abuser. Okay. I think this is a classic shitty relationship that neither of them should have been in. I think she was really, really attached and clingy, overly so, obsessive. And I think it's better for everyone here that they are not together and that everybody moves on from this. Now, I have an issue with the way that Echo handled this. So I want to reread what Echo posted here earlier today. Echo said the guild that he was kicked out of. The third party HR review is ongoing. However, we know that it's not because we saw her screenshots. So hold up. Wait a minute, Echo. The first thing you post here is a lie. Because what gets posted here is Echo actually knew about the alleged situation between Zaelia and this girl in late September, early October of 2023. And the HR guy for Echo says that the investigation has been concluded pending a police report. And then here on the day that they kick him out today, right? Oh, yeah, I mean, actually, I guess there's a delineation to be made. This is a third-party team. I guess they got involved at some point. Maybe I, to be fair to Echo real quick, maybe I'm missing a tweet. Okay, yeah, so the screenshots we saw from Valicia are internal HR. They got a hold of an external third-party HR, and I think maybe I'm missing a tweet. Okay, so this is actually 2 days ago. Okay, let's throw that in the context here. 2 days ago, Echo says, we are retaining a specialized independent workplace investigations HR company to review both complaints against Ken. So when they say both complaints, they mean the one from 2020, 4 years ago, and they mean the complaint that they were already aware of 8 months ago. 11 months ago. So Echo is not just now hearing about either of these situations. Echo would have heard about this 4 years ago and would have heard about this 11 months ago. And they had their own internal investigation. They concluded, nothing, that he was going to go get some counseling or something. And then they're going to wait for a police report. There was never a police report. Nothing happened. Okay. So anyway, as a consequence of this girl going public with all of this, with all of these allegations, they instituted a third-party HR investigation. And I'll finish reading the tweet here. We are retaining a specialized independent workplace investigation HR company to review both complaints against Ken. Zaelia. They will also review the audit, how we handled these complaints. Finally, we will consult with them on how to improve our process for handling incoming complaints, including when to refer a complaint to an independent third-party company. Okay, that was 2 days ago. Then today we have this. The third-party HR review is ongoing. However, we have now privately received a third new complaint about Zaelia. One of the disciplinary measures we took after the second accusation was informing Zaelia that any further accusation would lead to immediate termination. Okay, so after this, so the second accusation happened 11 months ago. So around 11 months ago, they would have told Zaelia, if there's ever another complaint against you, you will be immediately terminated. This is weird because this is not predicated on proof or substance. It's just, hey, if anyone, regardless of how ridiculous it might sound or how unsubstantiated it might be, if anyone comes to us ever with some type of allegation against you, you're going to be immediately canned. Also, it's not inconceivable that someone would, maybe someone with negative motives, would come against Zaelia to Echo, because the first one is public. The first unsubstantiated allegation is public. The second also unsubstantiated allegation, Felicia, who is levying the unsubstantiated allegation, admits in part of this Twitter thread that the people she told all of this to 11 months ago were looking to use this against Zaelia. Do you understand what's going on here? She admitted, hey, listen, I'm really sorry because people that I told this to are looking to use this information against you and Echo. She said that. And so these allegations are known about Zaelia. This information is not secret. So then it is, as such, it is insane for Echo to say, hey, if there's ever another allegation or complaint, we're going to immediately can you. Doesn't matter how much proof, no proof doesn't matter, you're gone. That is insane. To me, Echo saying that is fucking insane. Finally, we will consult with them on how, I'm sorry, wrong tweet. One of the disciplinary measures we took after the second accusation was informing Zaelia that any further accusation would lead to immediate termination. As of today, Zaelia has been terminated from our organization. To me, this is insane. This is insane to me. Going forward, we decided that any future complaints we receive will be directly forwarded to and handled by a third-party HR company. You know what they should have said? Scratch this sentence here. Scratch this part here. One of the disciplinary measures we took, the second, okay, get rid of that. Say, listen, we've received, like, if you want, say, we've received a third complaint and we have passed it off to a third-party HR company. And there it is. There. Everything now is going to a third-party company. Where they can seek proof or substantiation. Okay, because those things are very important. Jose said, if you get involved with any more mentally ill e-girls, you get terminated, buddy. I'm gonna be honest. I think the way Echo handled this is terrible. I think the way that Echo handled this is fucking incompetent. Like, you want my third-party investigation, you want my results. This is, given everything we've read here, this is incompetent. And I understand from their point of view, they're probably getting emails, they're probably getting DMs, they're probably having people threaten them. Echo formed as a consequence of the Method Josh drama 4 years ago, I think, when he was actually doing really bad things, of which there was proof he was doing really bad things. And so Echo split off from Method. So they really don't want to be involved. I get that. I get the history. I get the background. This is just incompetence. There's no other word for this. This is incompetence. They're lucky they're the best guild in the world, because this is fucking incompetent. I'm going nuclear. I'm going scorched earth. This is so fucking stupid that they have done this. Anyway, I think, and also, by the way, the third allegation, no one even knows what it is. We haven't seen it. Like, I wonder, as far as Echo is concerned, what if I made a burner account? What if I made a burner Twitter account and I uploaded a picture of a girl and I got myself 27 followers, and then I messaged them. I said, hey, listen, Zaelia did this to me 2 years ago. Would that suffice? Because it seems like they don't really care about burden of proof. It seems like Echo doesn't really value burden of proof in this case. All it takes is one person reaching out to them, lying, who knows, and Zaelia's gone. There's a reason why I'm saying this is incompetent. Absolutely moronic. So, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Anyway, let's try to extract some message. Let's try to extract some meaning from this, okay? Whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, doesn't matter who you are, it is very important that you are romantically associating with people that are not destructive, that are not toxic. You really need to be aware of the people that you are investing your emotional energy in, okay? Because we cannot understate the degree to which just a terrible, terrible, toxic, evil, manipulative person can ruin your life, okay? And that message is universally true regardless of whose story you believe here. Felicia, Marissa, Zaelia, regardless of whose side you're on, that is a true and really important message. If you are romantically, intermingled with the wrong person, it can be really bad, really, really fast. And so here's what I want you guys to do. I want every single person to post based in the chat. Do me a favor if you agree with that. And that's kind of where I'm at. That's my conclusion. You got to be really careful with who you spend time with who you invest your emotional energy into. And there it is. Okay. Well, that wraps that up. I mean, as with many cases like this is a he said, she said situation. Personally, I do kind of lean into Zaelia here. I think actually not for me, not only was Zalia's um story a little bit more coherent and well and better composed. This screenshot right here really strengthened his defense. Do you guys think that's the case? Him having this screenshot. Hold up. So wait a minute. Zaelia here. You are telling everybody that I'm a physical abuser and you're going through my guild's HR department, but 8 months later, you are sending me hearts and trying to reinitiate a relationship? And you're trying to frame me as a physical abuser? What are you talking about? This is insane, right? I'm not buying it. This screenshot, I think, really kind of hammered that home, and that's how I feel. So anyway, thank you for watching. Let me know in the comments section down below how you feel. And as always, stay safe.